This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. Today's discussion, February 18th, it's 15 stories that we're following this morning. First, and we have a separate podcast on this. The biggest story that we're watching this morning is Germany officially moving into recession. This follows a similar story about England a couple weeks ago and the slowing growth of the Chinese economy. Now, second, some people might say, well, the reason we're not in a recession in America is because of American exceptionalism or because of our entrepreneurial economy and capitalism. We would say that that's all, to coin it in a nice word, that's balderdash. That's wrong. That's BS. That's just lying with stats. The real reason we're not in a recession, and this is our second point today, is we're running a deficit of $2 trillion a year, which equals about 3 to 4% growth on a $28 trillion economy, if not more. And so if you can't say out of recession while you're inflating it through artificial deficits, then you can never say out of recession. But at some point, you have to pay the piper, and that catches up. So in Germany, for example, they say one of the reasons they're in recession, and the Bundesbank, their national bank, says, a lot of it has to do with domestic investments held back by high borrowing costs. Consumers remain cautious and so forth, but the government can't afford to keep on inflating stuff because they have too much debt already. And that's where we're going to be at the U.S. in not very long. So the idea that we've done something differently, the whole world's connected, it's hyper-connected, it's contagious. We've got problems. We're pretending we don't because of a deficit, but it won't stick. The third issue to watch today is the markets are up year to date. The Nasdaq's up 6.84%. The S&P is up 5.5% or so. Fourth, NVIDIA is up 51% year to date. God, I wish I invested in NVIDIA. It's now passed Alphabet, Google, as well as Amazon as the third and fourth most valuable companies in the United States. Microsoft and Apple are 1 and 2. Fifth, Goldman Sachs lifts the target for the S&P to 5,200 on profits optimism. Bloomberg reports that. Sixth, Apple is down 5.31% year to date. Seventh, Tesla is down 19.5% year to date. So what's fascinating about these stories is when you talk about the American economy and NVIDIA being up 51%, the market's up year to date, Goldman lifting the target. This is in contrast to Germany, England, and China. And the big difference is the extent of deficit spending we're doing here, which keeps our economy artificially up and these things moving in the right direction. It's like they used to talk about this Alan Greenspan taking the punch bowl away. The new punch bowl is deficit spending. It used to be low interest rates. Now it's deficit spending. Eighth, Roku dropped 24% Friday. Of course, I have no idea how to really use Roku. Every time I get sick of the cable bill, I think about it, but can't really quite figure out how to use it. Ninth, AMN Healthcare, an outstanding firm, fell 21.5% Friday. 10th, the stock markets are closed today after falling on Friday for President's Day. 11th, cannabis stocks are up 16% year to date. It's the first time in a couple years since that's been the case. A lot of people smoking, vaping, doing everything. Oh my goodness. I'll use a little bit of edibles to sleep sometimes. I tried sativa last week, a little bit, and felt horrible for hours. So I'm probably not going to be a sativa person at my age, but a little indica to sleep sometimes. God bless on the cannabis side. 12th, Bitcoin is up 20.64% year to date. 13th, and I find this interesting, the older generation is going bonkers for Ozempic. And anyone my age realizes after a few decades of trying to fight the weight, if there's an easy way to do it, God bless. So you're seeing that go crazy. And then 14th, a related story, and we bet you didn't know this, China has more obese people than anywhere else in the world. That's on a per capita basis, but there's 200 million people that are obese in China, another 400 million that are overweight. I mean, that's and they are increasingly turning to the weight loss drugs to solve that problem. That's fascinating as well. 15th, finally, listen to healthcare business updates at the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. Listen to business updates at the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you to our producers, Grace Keller, Chanel Bunger, fantastic work from Executive Podcast Solutions. And thank you to our listeners at the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very much.